won the ILR League Championship.
And has he got it stopped in time? He has.
The racing points going dueling. The Pink Panthers into the braking zone. Rosberg right on the outside the tail and he goes. He's going to squeeze again though. Out onto the curb. The racing points dueling like crazy here in bar 8. But Rosberg's done it. The peel of it on the grid. He's side his way through the field and moves up into first place. Driver of the day without a shadow of a doubt.
Mechanics, please stand clear. We're ready to go.
Hey guys, CRL Rosberg back at it again for another video, and this time back for another league racing video. I know it's been a little while, but you know, I guess a break is always nice now and again, but I need to start uploading. I'm enjoying league racing again, and I think just taking like a month break is just a bit silly, to be honest. We're here for ILR. I think I've only made like 3 videos on ILR in the past, but to me this is probably one of the most competitive leagues out there at the moment, if not the most competitive. Very much up there with AOR. And I've raced in ILR since its first season on Xbox, and never really made many videos on it. I think it's, at first I didn't take it as seriously in Season 1, because I ended up leaving before the end of the season. I came back in Season 2, did the whole of Season 3 as JD's teammate, and back again for Season 4, I believe this is. Again as JD's teammate, being the hardcore number 2 driver that I am. I'm going to stay loyal this time. As you can see, we're here for China. Obviously, in the little intro bit, you would have seen little bits of Australian Bahrain, where we actually got a podium in Bahrain, which was phenomenal, and it was a fantastic race. If you've seen the ILR highlights, I'll leave a link to the channel in the description, or JD's highlights videos. You would have seen how I came from, I think it was P11 to P3, which with nice battles as well during the race. But anyway, let's stop talking about the past. We're for China. As you can see, qualifying on the softs. It's going to be a wet race, and typically you would qualify on the mediums and do the medium hard strategy. But to be honest, as you can see, this lap absolutely shocking. I've got to be honest, I didn't trust the game when it said, oh, we're going to start on intermediate tyres, because in the past it said, oh, it's going to be raining, but then it just doesn't. Or like, it rains but you start on the dries. If you look back to AOR last season in China, it happened. So my game plan was to try and qualify in 11th, and if we were to start on dries, I would have free selection of tyres, start on the mediums, win the race. Easy as you like. But as you can see, the game stayed loyal, so maybe I should trust Codemasters a bit more. And we are starting on the intermediate tyres, but now with the bottom strategy, we're starting in 17th. Now, typically I like to believe I am one of the best drivers in the wets because I am an egotistical bastard. But, you know, starting from 17th, there's going to be a bit of a challenge to get a great result, but we'll have to see. And as I am famed for my famous Rosberg comeback drives. But we have got 5 red lights for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix, and the lights are already out. We get a phenomenal start. As you can see, straight through the middle of Drelix and the Toro Rosso. Incredible, diving it through into turn 1 around the outside of a Red Bull, making contact with a Haas. As you can see, that's JD who's off in the on the left-hand side. As you can see, we're squeezed in between, I think, 2 Red Bulls. And that's Reynolds, who's got a little bit wide. We cut across him, but we get an illegal overtake on him. I ain't done anything wrong. So we've got to give him the place back. So we've had to let Reynolds go through. We're still trying to hang it on his inside, but Visercal ahead of us, braking a bit early, so we can't go as late on the brakes as I felt like I could have. We've out-tractioned Reynolds on the exit of the corner, but now, as you can see, there's 3 name tags appear, and I don't know where I want to go at this point. Reynolds goes around the outside. I'm on the outside now of Visercal, but Reynolds is on the inside of both of us, and he snakes his way through, and he dive bombs Jam Pancakes as I've got Drelix around my outside. And to be fair, Reynolds, he's pulled off an absolute masterclass there. I think he's overtaken about 3 or 4 drivers in one go, which is absolutely stunning. Making a little bit of contact with Jam Pancakes. There's a Toro Rosso who's gone full torpedo mode into that corner. But Drelix, he maintains his P12. And we're up to P11, P10 in a minute if Jam Pancakes goes a little bit too wide. Getting the traction down with our OP wet setup, I assume. And as you can see, he's slotting right back onto the racing line very aggressively. No idea why I did that. Spotting the braking zone, obviously not doing any practice in the wet. So I had no idea where I was braking or what I was doing. But we hang on to P10 from P17 on the grid. CRL leads the way. He's a bit of a pad specialist, if you're not aware. And also a bit of a wet specialist, I guess. Sounds a little bit mad. Skipping on to lap 3, as you can see, we've caught on to the back of Reynolds, who's stuck behind BRL João Pedro, who's a Sierra's teammate in the Alfa Romeo. Reynolds trying to have a look. Reynolds is very confident on the traction around that little snail section, whereas I was a little bit iffy around there. As you can see, my engine's overheating, but we're in the slipstream of Reynolds. Now he's pulling off to the inside. We're going to do a switchback up to on the inside, but he's going to try and overtake João Pedro. I'm trying to overtake Reynolds. Trying to all get through nice and cleanly. Reynolds goes too wide. João Pedro's now trying to get past us. I'm losing the rear end, squeezing him to the outside, and we've made the move. We've got a little bit off the circuit. We're going to try and break the slipstream by moving a little bit to the outside. João Pedro is going to have the better run. Is he going to have good enough slipstream to try and get past us? He looks to the outside. We're going to try and park it on the inside of the corner, so he's got nowhere to go. And that is us up into P8. Basically, almost 2 overtakes in 1 little hairpin, which Reynolds is very optimistic to try and outbrake myself and make the move on João Pedro, but he's also got past him. As you can see, skipping on a little bit to lap 6 now. We've caught up to the back of Langman and CRGA Zelchi, who I think is struggling a little bit. As you can see, he runs out a little bit wide. We plan to get the switchback where he parks on the apex, which is great defending from him. As you can see, Zelchi is struggling on the traction here. I've tried to get a little bit more confident on the traction on the exit of the corner, but I'm still really not up to grips with it. A little bit scratchy, I guess you could say. In the slipstream of Zelchi, though, I know I'm going to be way more confident than him on the brakes. Up the inside of him, getting very close, making a little bit of contact to make our way through the corner, but as you can see, with our setup, we've got great traction, so we just speed right past him. But again, a little bit iffy on the last corner once again. And he's going to have the slipstream because he's so close to me. I'm not sure what area he's running, but he could gain a lot. But once again, maintaining the position, I again try and hold the tighter line so that he can't just sweep through. And Reynolds just charges his way up the inside of him. A little bit aggressive there. And Zelchi is just punted his way back past. I think a little bit aggressive. I think Langman pulled off a bit of an aggressive move on Zelchi, and I don't think he was very happy. So a little bit of I think he's kind of losing the plot. Maybe I'm not quite sure. As he's skipping on to lap 12, we caught up to the back of Carl Mitchell. Maybe no, maybe it wasn't Carl Mitchell. It was Langman and someone else. Myself and Langman making a bit of a charge through the field, considering we started a little bit further down. I think he was 11th, but I was 17th. Langman also a pad user. As he skipped to the end of lap 13, I could have gone maybe another lap or two, but I thought, right, I don't want to lose too much to the undercut, because the undercut in wet conditions is crazy OP. As you would expect, like fresh intermediates, you know, you would be able to wash away a little bit more water. And as you can see, coming into the pits for, of course, another set of intermediate tyres. I think if I had gone another lap, perhaps I still maybe could have gained a position, considering I still felt very confident. As you can see, a little bit of a delay in trying to get out the pit lane limiter. Jam Pancakes comes out ahead of Langman, and we come out behind the pair of them. So, just as an explanation, I guess, Jam Pancakes hasn't actually made a stop, whereas Langman, of course, he has. Langman is actually stuck behind Jam, and of course, I mean, considering how far down Jam Pancakes is, I'm going to assume that I was quicker than him, but a little bit too confident on the brakes, so I was there. Chose to, instead of rear-ending him or throwing it up his inside and probably causing a crash, I just chose to just back right out of it and just go off the circuit. But I think if I had actually gone another lap, I perhaps could have jumped to Langman, and that could have been race changing, because as you can see, that was like lap 15, lap 14, lap 20, we're still right stuck behind him, just not being able to get past. And I think he was running a slightly higher aero, so in the middle sector he was just flying away from me. But as you can see, down in sector 1 and 2, no, in sector 1 and 3, I was just much quicker. And I was also much more confident on the brakes, as you can see here, diving it down the inside of Langman. Maybe a little bit too late, making a bit of contact with him, but both of us staying on the circuit. Aggressive but fair, I think. Getting great traction, and we're going to go right round the outside of him into the final corner. He's still on the inside, so leaving a bit of space. Moving to the outside of the track to try and break the slipstream as much as possible. Try not to drive on the grass like I'm almost doing. And dropping down the engine, the ERS mix, to try and hold the inside, but we've got a little bit wide. Langman, he's of course going to get the inside line. Giving him the space, fair racing between myself and Langman. Squeezing him out a little bit on the exit of turn 3, onto turn 4, on the inside we're going to have the better run. Upping the engine mix and ERS to try and maintain the place. Trying to brake as late as possible to defend, but we brake very late. Langman sort of follows us in, but a little bit early on the brakes. Nearly clipping the front end of Langman there. But we just about survive and make a place up into P5. So, what is that? Like, oh, I'm terrible at maths. What, 12 positions gained, I think? It's quite stunning, to be fair, I reckon. But now our job is to try and pull away from Langman. Perhaps look at trying to catch Feisty Ted and P1R Brown for a podium. But as you can see, lap 28, they were way too far ahead. I was catching them in at one point, half a second a lap. And then it was a second, I think I caught up a second on one of the laps. But, okay, Feisty Ted and P1R Brown, they're no slouches, but, so it was a bit optimistic to try and think I'd catch them up really quickly. But, still, P5, brilliant results, considering when we started. Sierra wins the race for the pad users, his second race win at China in a row. 2 consecutive wins. Vlot Chaser Fries gets P2 to go along with his 2 victories already this season. P1R Brown gets another podium. That's his second, third place in I guess in a row, considering he didn't race at Bahrain, I don't believe. So a bit of a championship challenge being put up from Sierra, but you'd think, considering he is on the pad and Josh, you know, first of all he's an alien and on the wheel, you would expect him to fly away with it. As you can see, there are the race standings, like I said, the top 3. Varsity Ted coming up with P4. We get P5 ahead of Langman after starting from P17. BRL João Pedro gets P7 ahead of Reynolds, who didn't really gain as much as I thought he would. I think he had a bit of a questionable start. CRG Morso from 18th to 9th, also a fantastic race from him. Jason from 12th to 10th as well. Baztec Limitless, after he got a little bit of damage and had a bit of a spin around moment, Jam Pancakes and Dralix rounding out the top 14. But guys, that is it from me. I think I might have the championship standing somewhere. I don't know where, but they might be here. As far as I know, I'm 3rd in the championship, 1 point ahead of P1R Brown, who's had 2 thirds, and I've had a 7th, 5th, and a 3rd. So, consistent season so far, I think. Could be better, but could be worse. But I'm going to round off this video here. Closing on to 1k subscribers, which is quite interesting. But if we can hit that by the end of the year, that would be stunning. But let's not get my hopes up. I've got to start uploading first, but I'll try and get these videos out a little bit more consistently. But before I ramble on too much, thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like if you did enjoy, comment your thoughts on perhaps the race in general, or about me actually uploading. That might be interesting. And subscribe, of course, if you're new to the channel, to see more League Racing content. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers.